Hey, good morning, everyone. What's going on? Vega here for Serpent X Tech for another episode of Caffeine Crypto, where I welcome you to join me with whatever your favorite morning coffee, drink, energy stuff, tea, water, whatever, as we go over this week's crypto news. It is chilly over here in North Florida. North. I can't say it right. You know what? You know my pronunciations suck. I see some of y'all already talking about it. Gonna do some quick banter and say hello to everybody. But yeah, so Crypto Pounder Dog or Four changed his name. Squirrel Masters, Automatic Beats. Yeah, everybody's heating their house with their miners. Good job. Good job heating your house with your miners. Two birds, one stone. You know, you're gonna spend electricity on heating your house anyways. Might as well use the miners. And earn some crypto, Bitcoin, altcoins, whatever, converting it. But yeah, man, markets didn't pop off after the Fed rate cut. Honestly, I was expecting it. We've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks. It seems, we're not ready for blast off. We haven't been getting all three of the things that we've been talking about, which is Fed rate cut, retail investors, and new record-breaking inflows into ETFs. We get one or the other, but they're not at the same time. A lot of people, as far as retail goes, as far as the regular mom and pop, the individual, the regular folks, blue collar, they're not exactly got a bunch of money that they could just go into these risk assets like Bitcoin. But eventually it's going to happen. I wonder if we're going to close off December positive, because we switch over to the monthly on the chart. Right now we're on the daily. I wonder what's gonna happen. Because right now, October, November, December has all been red. Hopefully, we stay above this. You can see this EMA ribbon. I believe this is the 20. We kind of bounced off of it in November and December. If we can hold that structure, that would be great, because otherwise, falling down, even if it is in 2026 to 66K, will kind of put the dampening on everybody's spirits. But a lot of people are still believing a recession is coming. And, because the crypto market, especially Bitcoin, is trading like a tech stock, that could be some really bad news bears. But you can see this just this past week, focusing on just this past week, which was December, let's say from the 8th to the 13th or 8th to the 14th. You could see we kind of just meh, right? Not really much. Still trading in this tight range, anywhere between 94 and 88. If you have any bot set, that's a good trading spot to do, right? To buy and sell, short and long. Good range to do that. We kind of pushed up from 87, 88 up to 94, got rejected, a lot of selling pressure, and then moved on. So this is going to, as we talked about in the past, push some of the larger mining operations to reconsider, to readjust, to reallocate, even the mid-scale operations and even the smaller that were on the brink of paying too much for power, to just consider shutting down or pivot or adjust. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, Bitcoin plunges below 90K as AI worries to drag NASDAQ, crypto stocks down. Chipmaker Broadcom, 10% slide weighs on the market as Chicago Fed Goolsbee signals more cuts than the median for 2026. Artificial intelligence focused stocks are coming under pressure on Friday, dragging tech-related equities in Bitcoin lower during the early U.S. session. Broadcom, which is the signal, or the abbreviation AVGO, the ninth largest asset by market cap, tumbled 10% despite strong earnings as its outlook disappointed investors' lofty expectations. The NASDAQ index was down at 1% in the first hour of the session, adding Oracle to a 10% slump on Thursday and then further a 3% decline on Friday. And investors' concerns are mounting that the red-hot AI theme that fueled much of this year's stock market gains might be fizzling out. AI, that's all you hear. Of course that hype was going to fade out. Of course. Don't know why Bitcoin has to follow it, but whatever. Bitcoin trading around 92.5K overnight, plunged 2% following the U.S. stock market open to 89.8. Extended the choppy action through the week. A consistent theme this week has been Bitcoin setting intraday lows during U.S. trading hours, and a pattern that has led to the fueling of after hours, trading on the ETFs. Now, I do suspect that we might have a nice little run this week. So let's say Sunday we continue to chop. We're still around 90K, 91K. I have a feeling that if we have a nice little run, the biggest thing is going to be trying to get back up to 94. You can see it's significant resistance right here at 94. There's a lot of selling pressure right at that mark. The EMA ribbons aren't touching it on the daily, but I'm sure it's touching in a different time frame. But we really got to get past 94K. And then, there's multiple levels, 96, 98, 100, 104 or 102, 104. Like every 2K up, there's some significant resistance that was support in the past has now turned resistance. But we really can't get above this 94K right now. So if we did have a weekly run, I suspect us hitting that 94K again, but can we actually break through it? Can we actually get over that hump? We'll have to wait and see. Bitcoin miners, some of which have increasingly leaned into AI for diversification, which if AI stocks isn't doing too good, that might hurt them a little bit, showed a similar reaction to Broadcom's miss. Hut 8 fell 5%. Reen and Riot dropped 4. Cypher and Reen both are down about 2% over the past day. Crypto-related stocks also fell alongside the NASDAQ, like Robinhood, MicroStrategies, Circle, Coin, Allsop, and dropping 2-5% depending. Markets have already been under pressure after the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, speech on Wednesday, which hinted at a possible rate cut pause in January. As a result, markets now expect only 2 rate cuts in 2026 instead of 3. And then Chicago Fed President Goolsbee, who was against the December rate cut, however, said he expects more in 2026 than the current median projection. So more than 2 rate cuts, I guess. Several other members of the Federal Reserve will also speak over the course of the day, as the central bank's blackout period following its December meeting on Wednesday has ended. Traders will be looking for any guidance where the Fed officials agree with Powell on potentially holding rates steady in January. So we'll have to see if they're planning on cutting rates again in January. But the just in summary, if I could just summarize it so you guys can get out of here if you don't feel like watching the whole show, like the entire economic scene is not in a good position right now. It's just not. Doesn't matter what you're really trading. I mean, yeah, you could probably go into gold. Gold has been a little bit more stable than all the other assets, but pretty much the entire stock market and the economy, whether it's a crypto economy or just traditional finance economy, is just not doing too good. Not to mention, we're going to probably have some negative reports about employment and CPI and all that stuff coming up in 2026. So we could slip into 2020. If this is the rate we're going and we put in 3 red months on Bitcoin specifically, and we're leading into 2026, and usually what happens is we're green these months, and then we're green into January, February, and then we drop, at the end of February, March, April, then start picking back up in May. We might have even more red January, February, and then maybe reverse the scene. We'll see. But your best bet is to, if you're in a position to where you have to sell your assets in order to keep up with your bills, then do what you need to do. But we got to play the long game here. Dollar cost average, stack them sats, hashing away, mining, whatever, and just play the long game, because it's going to be a minute. While everybody was projecting we end 2025 with $150,000 Bitcoin and then $250,000 in 2026, I think those expectations have fizzled, and you can see that JP Morgan and a number of other significant companies have adjusted that structure or that viewpoint. So exchange liquidity touches red zone. That's another thing, liquidity. The Bitcoin market experiencing a gradual trend reversal following the weeks of prolonged price correction between October and November. However, recent on-chain data reveals a concerning trend about BTC's bullish structure. Bitcoin IFP indicators suggest the market has reached a turning point. Popular analytics page, Arab Chain, has shared a cautionary insight on the Bitcoin market despite the moderate price recovery in recent weeks after Bitcoin suffered the correction from 126K. However, data from Bitcoin IEFP or IFP suggests that the upward price momentum might be short-lived. For perspective, the Bitcoin IFP measures the net movement of Bitcoin between exchanges over a given period. Arab Chain explains the IFP indicator continues to trend downward after breaking below its 90-day moving average, suggesting a weakening market participation amid fewer bullish flows between exchanges. Furthermore, the IFP also sits in the red zone, which is historically coincides or precedes a correction period or weak structural moment that could precede a broader downtrend. Combined, these developments imply that Bitcoin market is in a critical junction, and there is a reduction in exchange flows that has historically supported the price rallies in past market phases. So going back to a couple of shows ago where we were talking about some of those Satoshi era, Bitcoin holders, investors, whatever it is, that were selling, right? They converted some of that Bitcoin into cash, right? They went from having a bag of nothing in the early days to 9 billion or 12 billion or 1 billion. And they're locking in their profits, right? They're going to reinvest in different ways. They're going to pay their debts. They're going to live their life, whatever it might be. Got new billionaires on the scene now. They probably see this and see that Bitcoin as a whole is no longer Bitcoin in their eyes, like the original Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto had intended, and so they're out. They're just out. They might reinvest, buy a little bit more Bitcoin, or degen into some new cryptos, whatever. But they're out. So can't blame them. But everything's pointing to we're gonna fall. So what do you want to do, right? So I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. So for example, I paid off the craziness with the electricity bill because the company here that provides electricity for the neighborhood or for my area is a con artist and a crook. So I got out of that hole. I paid down some small debt like credit cards and stuff like that. I got my TL back up and running, as you may have seen on the channel, right? And I'm just gonna chill. Right? I'm gonna maintain what I got and chill. Keep stacking that sats. Keep hashing away. And chill out, because I'm looking 2035, 2045, like when I'm getting ready to retire, stuff like that. That's the game I'm playing. I'm not playing get rich now, because oftentimes if you try to get rich quick in crypto, you're gonna get wrecked. So if you haven't taken profits, or if you have been taking profits and you've been helping yourself out, putting yourself in a better position, a more comfortable financial position, then great. I'm happy for you. Obviously, be aware that those taxes are going to wreck you or beat you up. So just be mindful of that. I do think we will recover, but that might not be to the end of Q2 2026 or Q3 2026. It might be sooner than that. I'm just saying that the overall economic situation is not looking too enticing for Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. I will be ending this show a little bit early, as it's Mama Serpent's birthday. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know where to hit me up in the live chat, at me, or send a super chat. But do not send a super chat if you are broke, please. Northern Crypto and Tech stopped by as well. Son of Rabbit Panda, appreciate you guys all stopping by. It's actually, so you said 72 is the temp coming out of your exhaust, Squirrel Masters. Basically, I don't know what the temp is outside. It's 12F outside. Woo, and snowing. Good luck. I'll be going up to Indiana to visit some family for Christmas, so there might be some shows that I won't be able to do later on in December. We'll see, where it's going to be, snow and 12 Fahrenheit or near zero. Family's prepared and everything for that cold, but it's nothing like, or there's nothing to compare here in North Florida. I think we get down to like 40, sometimes 32, 28, whatever, below freezing. but the machines keep the house at a nice 72 or above, 76, 74. So it's always nice to have cold weather, crack a couple windows, throw on the rigs, and heat the house while hashing away. Moving back to crypto, amidst the structural weakness highlighted by IFP, the Arab chain also noted that price remains relatively high compared to previous levels in similar situations. The analysts explained that this suggests price of inflows are temporarily moving irrespective of each other based on historical data. Such detachments usually indicates a prolonged price consolidation or significant period of extended sideways movement until the interchange flows can reestablish market dominance. So if we drop a little bit, we're going to chop sideways for further. So this 94 to 88K Bitcoin trading range or price range that you can take advantage of, right, through various means. Some of them I posted out on the channel just to accumulate more Bitcoin or stack them sats or whatever you're trying to do. You can make money in those ranges. If you're trading with leverage, just be careful. But we might have a prolonged period of sideways action. But the bullish structure is not collapsing into a bearish state. However, the IFP metric development suggests that there may not be sustained upward movement in the short term due to structural slowdown in interchange flows. Moreover, price is likely to become sensitive to changes in the market liquidity. Therefore, there is also significant potential for another correction. So, yeah. Yeah. We could probably pull back to, let's say, we bounced off of what? 81K. Next level I'm looking at is 76. Right? So if we fall further, 88 to 76K, we could have a significant period of consolidation there. Which you can see, we kind of technically, this was back in 2024. All right, if we're looking at the daily. I don't know how many days this was, but there's been periods of prolonged consolidation, little downturn, or it could be a fake out, right? It takes a significant downturn to 76K and all of a sudden pops right back up, liquidating some assets. If we have a huge liquidation, that could be a problem. That's definitely going to drive us straight down and down into the ground. So we'll see. But people are still hoarding Bitcoin. Companies, institutions, they're still hoarding Bitcoin, right? And MicroStrategy, despite concerns, right? It's got 21 months of being able to pay its dividends and stuff like that, but it's not looking too good. It remains on the NASDAQ 100 index. It's hanging on to dear life to that NASDAQ 100, I guess you could say, listing. But it's been continued its year-long stint in benchmark at the time where analysts have raised questions over the business model, right? It buys Bitcoin. It sells shares of its company. You can see the price. If we go to the 5-year, you can see the price has dipped significantly as of recently. If we start from the time it started, dip was basically in July. And honestly, July. Right here, right? So July, Bitcoin hit that 123, the previous all-time high. And ever since then, MicroStrategy has gone down. You can see, obviously, MicroStrategy is following along with the Bitcoin price. So that's to be expected. But can it hang on to, it's, I guess you could say, place in the traditional finance with its current strategy? Concerns have grown over the sustainability of crypto treasury companies whose shares have proven extremely sensitive to Bitcoin gyrations. Let's go to the 1 year. All right, so down only 6%. 6 month. Well, I guess it's not giving me the full thing, so we'll just leave that alone. But yeah, it's down significantly. It's following Bitcoin. NASDAQ says Biogen, CDW, Global Foundries, Lululemon, Authentica, Athletica, and other semiconductor and trade desks were removed from the tech-heavy exchange benchmark index. New entrants including, I can't pronounce that name, but it's a pharmaceutical company. I can't pronounce that name. There's another pharmaceutical company, Monolithic Power Systems, Seagate Technologies, and Western Digital, right? Oh, of course. RAM prices are getting ridiculous, so you're going to add those companies, you jackasses. Strategy started out as a software company, but has pivoted to Bitcoin investment company and is included in NASDAQ 100 since last December under the index technology subcategory. Global index provider MSCI has also raised concerns about the presence of digital asset treasury companies in the benchmarks because they could bring down these benchmarks, as MicroStrategy has done. The NASDAQ changes are expected to take place on December 22nd. It basically tracks the largest non-financial companies by market capitalization listed on the exchange. We'll see how long MicroStrategy can hang on to that. If it can survive the 21 months that it's projected to have the money or funds to pay these dividends to the customers or these investors, then maybe it will be fine. 21 months, that's basically almost 2 years, right? So we're looking at 2027. If Bitcoin does not recover by then MicroStrategy is definitely going to be in trouble. But I don't think so. Northern Crypto and Tech says, I think 4-year cycle remains the peak was less aggressive. Yeah, I mean, this is a completely different environment. The crypto today versus crypto, if you guys been around since the early days, I'm not sure when you came in, but I'm going to assume that many of you joined in 2017, right? Because that's when my channel exploded. Even that, between 2017 and now are completely different environments. 2013, when I got in, 2014, 2013, completely different environment. So we're entering the unknown, to be frank. All right, this is new territory. Score Masters, what's your thoughts on them saying it's now a 5-year cycle instead of a 4-year cycle? Yeah, I mean, it goes back to what we were just saying. It's a completely different environment. We talked about on the channel about how the 4-year cycle has been broken. I would tend to agree with that, or it just changed, like you're saying, to the 5-year cycle. It's a completely different. We got a lot of suits in the game, a lot of investors, banks, financial companies like in the game. It's not just crypto bros in the basement, at some club, in a rave, in a LAN party, talking Bitcoin and trading Bitcoin with one another. It is a completely different animal. Hence the reason why the rave boys, the LAN party guys, the nerds have been cashing out, taking profits, and either reinvesting or going to new ventures, or just getting out completely, or just locking their profits so they could go disappear somewhere in northern Canada and hang out with Red Panda Mining. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how MicroStrategy can hold. If MicroStrategy has to sell a significant portion of their Bitcoin to keep up with the demand, because Bitcoin has not recovered by 2027, that's going to be bad news bears. I doubt that would happen, but that's something to keep in mind. That's why everybody keeps on bringing up MicroStrategy. So something to keep an eye on is, can MicroStrategy hang on to, like, the Michael Saylor's goal is to continue to buy more Bitcoin, right? All of these companies still have those targets to buy more Bitcoin. But can MicroStrategy stay afloat long enough and not get, like, if Bitcoin fell to 0 right now, MicroStrategy's fucked. Excuse my language. If you have any little ones around you, and YouTube, please don't demonetize me. But, like, I don't think that would happen. But if we start seeing Bitcoin fall down to 76K, 88, 76K, 66K, that's going to put a lot of companies and mining companies in trouble. Now, for you and I, who might not have a significant mining investment or operation, that's going to be good for us, because things like this are going to happen, where a Bitcoin block is being hit with 271 terahash. Now, that's basically 2 of my S19K Pros solo mining or participating. You can see that the 5-minute hash rate was only 88. The 1-hour hash rate was only 80. So maybe he bought rented some hash power from Nice Hash, or from mining rig rentals, or he turned on some more machines recently, and all of a sudden he got lucky. It is luck. It's very much luck. There's no guarantee that you're going to hit a block. But we've seen people with 10 terahash hit a Bitcoin block. We've seen people with a 1 petahash hit a block. We've seen now around 200 terahash, but you can see the 1 hour hash rate was, let's look at the 24-hour hash rate. What is a 24-hour? 1 day, 76 terahash. That's 1 ASIC basically, right? So, grats. And the point is, of these large operations are ramping down. They're pivoting to AI. They're pivoting to this. They're pivoting to that. They're pivoting to, as you're going to see here in a minute, a different resource. Then that's going to open the door for you and I, who have no obligations, that even if Bitcoin falls down, it's not going to stop us from mining it. Whereas these operations are going to have to adjust. And we get a chance, a better chance, to hit a Bitcoin block. You know, really, you should have been solo mining in 2017 if you first joined the channel. I was talking about solo mining, not just Bitcoin, but other projects back then. And now it's impossible to hit a Zcash Bitcoin, Zcash block by yourself, a Litecoin block by yourself, a Dogecoin block by yourself. Well, I mean, you could probably still hit them. It's just like Bitcoin, they're rare, but they're still out there. But you know, solo mining's really picked up recently, and everybody's trying to, like, it's basically the lottery, but for crypto. And can it, you know, I just, every time I talk about the Nerded QX or the BitAxes or any of the miners, the solo miners, I always specify, while there's still a chance to hit a Bitcoin block, it's a very slim chance. And, you know, while it might be greater than getting struck by lightning or bit by a shark, it's still a very slim chance. You may never hit one in your entire life, no matter how hard you try. So don't get your hopes up. Don't bet the farm on it. Don't do anything stupid. But, you know, having a few of these miners that are only sipping 20 watts, 15 watts, 100 watts, whatever, stashed around your house and your children's bedroom like I have, just hashing away, you know, you can have a chance, and you set it and you forget it. Obviously, do some basic maintenance. But, yeah. Can Bitcoin, by 2030, we're going to do a quick poll, by 2030, the question is, will Bitcoin hit 500K plus by 2030? Question mark. We're going to throw that out right now. If you guys want to do me a favor and head on over to Red Panda Mining's live stream, where people are just chilling in there, and try to bring them over to this stream, that would be greatly appreciated. Just share it on Red Panda stream. But yeah, poll. 2030, that's 5 years from now, right? Technically less than 5 years, 4 years from now. I mean, if we zoom out, Bitcoin's still on one, right? If you look at, since the dawn of this chart, you know, this is a very bullish chart. There's ebbs and flows, there's dips in between. We had a huge low here in 2022. We had a huge low here after 2017, from 2018 to 2020, right? But this is still an upward trending chart. So if we continue that, right? If we continue that, can Bitcoin hit 500K plus? Let's see here. The angle, get a protractor here. Where's all my buttons at now? They moved all my buttons. Okay, I'll do it freehand. I'm not very good at TradingView. You guys need to go watch somebody else if you want, like, super charts. I mean, I could see, like, we're running out of dates here. There's 2027. Yeah, I'm looking at 220,000. 220,000. I mean, unless there's a major blow up, a major pop, I'm not sure. But I'm looking at 220,000. And again, I can't see the dates. It stops after 2027, so we'll have to see. But go answer what your thoughts are in the poll. We would need significantly more inflows. We need the Litecoin ETF. We need the Dogecoin ETF. We need the XRP ETF. We need people to have money. We need the economy to be doing good. We need no wars. We have a peacetime event. Like, if everybody just got along and put their heads towards focusing on a mission, right? Making life better for people, getting water to places that don't have water, getting some more space missions going, focusing on becoming a decent civilization and a booming economy. Yeah, maybe 500 or $1 million, but that just seems so far-fetched to me right now. I mean, let's think about it. Let's say a regular mom and pop, they only got 0.01 Bitcoin. That's all they were able to get during this turn, and Bitcoin hits $750,000. It's only 7,500. Right? So, like, that's why I keep saying everybody needs to be trying to get to 1 Bitcoin. As hard as it's getting to be, everybody needs to get there. Now, if there's a market downturn where we go down to 66K, it might be a little bit easier to accumulate that Bitcoin. But yeah, you want to get to at least 1 Bitcoin. But what do you think the price is going to be by 2030? Just throw a number out there. It might be bullshit. Just throw a number out there. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section of the live chat. But going back to what it would take, you know, Bitcoin ETFs peaked at 169 billion in October before settling at 120 billion in December. The 2028 halving will cut the daily issuance to roughly 225 Bitcoin, as ETF demand could reach 500 billion to 800 billion globally. Right? Demand picks up if it does. Right? Demand might not pick up. It's not guaranteed to pick up just because the halving happens. But if all these banks and institutions continue to say we want to allocate XYZ amount of Bitcoin to blah, 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 then, you know, eventually it's going to happen. Adoption is a big one. Momentum shift quickly, but long-term picture depends on the forces far bigger than short-term price swings. Spot Bitcoin ETFs, sovereign interests, institutional demand, and the 2028 halving are all converging at once. Bitcoin's path to 2030 rides on how these drivers interact over the next 5 years. The ETFs, the halving, and, you know, I would say retail or adoption of Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin and investing in Bitcoin or accumulating Bitcoin. Even if you don't accumulate Bitcoin directly, right? As I said in the past, what is the number one asset that most trading pairs, like if you go get XRP, if you go get Doge, if you go get whatever meme coin, 9 times out of 10, the asset you would trade it on, and not all the time, like Solana, a lot of people, when you buy meme coin there, you're using Solana, USDT, USDC, whatever. But 9 times out of 10, most of these exchanges, those assets, if you were to trade them, would trade into Bitcoin. Right? So you can get these altcoins, invest in these altcoins, mine these altcoins, stack the sats in these altcoins, and convert to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's long-term outlook rests on a catalyst that is now deeply embedded in the global financial system. The next major move will come from the structural demand, shrinking supply, and how fully Bitcoin integrates in institutional systems. The drivers will shape whether Bitcoin leans towards 500K or pushes towards 1 million by a decade's end. Spot ETFs have rewritten Bitcoin's demand profile. Capital from pensions, advisors, sovereign reserves now enters through regulated channels and stays in rotation. The spot Bitcoin ETF assets peaked at 169 billion in October before settling at 120 billion, while total crypto ETF assets globally approached 180 billion. Right, the overall crypto market, I think, is at only 3.18 trillion, maybe 3.15 trillion. Imagine that we saw over 4 trillion in the past. Imagine that sucker hits 10, bro. Like, and if people stop getting into meme coins and just pump Bitcoin, I think it will be a lot better, because some of those meme coins are just shit. And if you're hunting meme coins, there are some videos on the channels that I provide to you to help you, like, kind of sift through the trash and find those coins or try to find gems, it's good luck, right? It's really hard. You're not gonna just pick a coin and be like, oh, I'll buy this, I'll be a millionaire tomorrow. No. You're likely gonna get wrecked. But I do have some videos out there that help you shift through that trash out there. All right, I'm gonna check the live chat real quick as we're waiting for the poll. I need you to go vote real quick. Let me know your thoughts. Northern Crypto and Tech 2019. Okay, that's when you got in the scene. Cool. No regrets. I love it. Don't move to Canada. People are moving out. I'm thinking about it. Well, don't come here. At least to Florida. Florida man will get you. And woman. Squirrel Master said I did a lot of GPU CAS mining. By the way, I did sell some CASPA way back to help with the TL project. Because getting a car working for me was more important than hanging on to the dream of the CASPA creators. I mean, it's at 4 cents right now, down from its all-time high of almost 20 cents in July of 2024. It might get back up to 10 cent during a nice bull run, whatever. What's the circulating supply at? Okay. 27 billion. Max supply is 28 billion. Market cap 1.25 billion. But yeah, I had to what was it? 15. So that would have been 3.24 CASPA. Yeah, I had to sell some CASPA, Ether, and some of the altcoins to help get this TL back up and running, which was more important. So again, if you're in a position where you need to pay your bills, pay down debts, like it'd be better to get out of debt. But here's the thing: if you sell a significant amount of your Bitcoin, let's say you got $50,000 in debt, and you sell $50,000 of your crypto assets, and all of a sudden the bull market comes in end of 2026, 2027. You know, that $50,000 now to settle your debt now turns into 100-something thousand or 200,000, and it kind of sucks, right? It's going to sting if you look back. Which, by the way, I want to do some portfolio reviews. Remember, I did if you had $1,000 right now, what assets would you buy and how much of, or percentage wise of? I want to do some portfolio reviews. We'll do dedicated videos for those to see how it's done. But I'm going to post another one on YouTube. I'm going to post it in like a general post on X. So keep an eye out. Let me know your thoughts. Go vote and let me know, answer the question. What assets, I don't know how many I'm going to choose. Pick 5, pick 6, pick 7, pick 10, whatever. If you had $2,000, $3,000, whatever, what would you buy? Please go vote. And then we'll do some portfolio reviews starting in 2026. JP Morgan analyst revamps 2025 Bitcoin forecast. Right, so obviously they're changing their tune since Bitcoin has slumped. But JP Morgan disagrees, right, in that recent volatility does not point to impending crypto winter. That might be true, but obviously, it kind of feels like people are still calling. Like I said, in the traditional finance space, if you watch some of those content creators and traders and financial experts, they're calling for kind of like a mini recession. They still say it's on the table. I doubted it for the longest time, but seeing how things are going right now, and AI, kind of forcing people out of their jobs, and those people are not being retrained to do other jobs that are being replaced by AI. And the push that we've been having, I have a feeling that employment's going to rise. The Fed's going to have to take some action, and 76K or $80,000 Bitcoin is not out of the cards yet. In late November, JP Morgan outlined a long-term price target of $240,000 for Bitcoin. The bank cited its evolved market structure and increasing sensitivity to macroeconomic conditions. It's argued that BTC performance is no longer primarily driven by the 4-year halving cycle, as we led back to that you guys are talking about in the chat. So look at how that turns around. At the time of writing, Bitcoin is down 2.2%. And what is your future target? You didn't give me a future target. Okay, well, JP Morgan just disagrees that this is going into a bear market, basically. We'll see how things go. Jamie Dimon talking shit about Bitcoin. I was all about it. What's funny is while people will downplay or talk ish about something that you might be invested in or buying into or whatever, in a public setting, they're behind the scenes accumulating, stacking, whatever, right? So they're trying to drive people away from it while they accumulate. Don't let that happen. Even if the market does take a downturn, you want to accumulate what you can afford to accumulate. Do not go ham, but keep stacking them sats and accumulate as much as you possibly can for the future. On Bitcoin Magazine, I think this Shanghai Renewables Energy energizes 20 megawatt Bitcoin facility in West Texas. What is this? Who owns this? I'm going to look this company up real quick. In partnership with Total Energies and Links Genco. Who's this, though? New York. Spencer Marr. Okay. Interesting. All right. So we got more facilities popping up in Texas. There's some partnerships going on. The project operates behind the meter at 150 watt megawatt solar farm, combining renewable energy generation with digital infrastructure to explore new revenue streams for energy sector. Of course, if they're right there behind the meter, as they call it, they can easily curtail, not cartel, but curtail, to meet the demands of the power company. Like, hey, it's getting really cold. We got a major ice storm coming. We need y'all to shut down so we can make sure these houses are heated, the families are safe, stuff like that. They can easily shut down, blah, blah, blah. And then when the city or town stops using the power, then they kick it back on, and they're not being wasteful, because they still have to provide that power anyway. They're just not being wasteful. So they're doing it very efficiently. I know a couple of people that have done that, whether it's behind the meter for fossil fuels or some type of oil, crude provider, methane, whatever it might be, as well as hydro and solar. So this is nothing new. It's just another company that's working in West Texas through partnerships with Total Energies and Links Genco. When did they cut the ribbon on here? I have to go and find that out. Yep, local curtailment. They broke ground on the mining facility, but they don't say when. Development with independent power producer, now known as Total Energies. That's the power producer, was built on an existing solar site. Efforts to turn underutilized renewable assets into profitable Bitcoin. So the power was being underutilized. Okay. So the main company will own and operate the mining data center, deploy high efficient hardware, and manage the load to maximize utilization during periods of excess solar generation. And then the power company will supply comprehensive retail power solutions, including balancing services, supplemental grid power during non-solar hours, and structural energy products designed to address price volatility while maintaining operational reliability. That's good. That's good. This approach offers a framework for scalability, location agnostic load, potentially providing additional revenue streams for renewable energy producers and supporting broader grid stability. The products highlights how Bitcoin mining can become a tool to unlock new value streams for energy sector. So power companies getting involved. That's why they partner with these mining facilities. That must have been a decent sell for this company to do. I'll tell you that much. DeepSeek AI projects price scenarios for XRP, Solana, and Dogecoin. Let's see what DeepSeek AI says. Let's see here. Ripple, we know about blah, blah, blah. Token is maintained, yada, yada, yada. Solana, blah, blah, blah. Dogecoin. Are you gonna, there's no price prediction? What the hell? The AI model projects a potential recovery of a broader integration of Dogecoin as a payment method of major platforms occurs, which could trigger significant price movement. Okay. So ETS. Okay, the AI is saying Solana could see potential ecosystem growth and increased institutional adoption. Could drive substantial gains in 2026, so more ETFs. The bearish scenario points to decline towards lower support levels if the cryptocurrency fails to break current resistance levels. Institutional interest in Solana ETFs could support higher prices, though the network must breach strong resistance to maintain bullish momentum. XRP has two scenarios. The bearish projection suggests a potential collapse if investor sentiment remains weak. The bullish case anticipates significant upside following final resolution of the SEC lawsuit scheduled for August, which could deliver regulatory clarity and unlock institutional inflows according to AI model. That wasn't very helpful. Whatever. And again, they're just using articles and bullshit that's out there, and that may not always be accurate. U.S. regulator grants crypto firm initial approval to launch Trust Bank. I'm seeing this a lot in the articles lately. Let's see. I got another one. No, I don't. Do I? Crypto giants, including Ripple and Circle, on Friday received preliminary approval from a top U.S. bank regulator to establish national trust banks in a major move that could further integrate digital assets into the banking system. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency conditionally approved 2 new national trust bank charters. So things are still moving in a positive direction for the crypto ecosystem. Not so much for Do Kwon. For Terra, remember Terra? Everybody remember Terra? And I'm going to end the poll after this. It's 11:48. I'm going to send you over to Red Panda here afterwards. But Do Kwon, the co-founder of Terraform Labs, which developed Terra USD and Luna, right, which helped collapse a lot of the frauds, right, like FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and all that stuff. Sometimes you gotta flush all the trash out the way in order to see what's really, what could really be. And that's what happened. It sucked. A lot of people got hurt. I am sorry, but this guy is now has been sentenced by a New York judge for 15 years in prison for epic fraud. Do you think 15 years is enough? I'm not going to do a poll, but do you think 15 years is enough? Jeez Louise. All right, let's end the poll real quick. Going to end it right now. The question that we posted was, will Bitcoin hit 500K plus by 2030? 75% says yes. 25% says no, 12 votes. I wish we could have got more, but it's all good. Definitely need to get some of the fam back in here. I know I've been out of the scene for a bit, and I'm going to miss a couple days in the future, but we'll see. But appreciate you guys stopping by, showing some love, hitting the like button. But again, I guess nobody from the Red Panda stream wanted to come hang out. Oh well. Anyways, crypto winter squeeze Bitcoin miners as AI pivot gains urgency. So this is talking about what crypto mining companies pivoting or making some adjustments and focusing on AI. But AI is taking a hit too. So this is kind of the economic world landscape that they're in. If they didn't position themselves well with the power and the agreement that they had with power companies or with their investors or whatever, then yeah, they're gonna get crushed, go into bankruptcy, fold, whatever. But people in the mining scene know how to communicate and know how to run this. So there are plenty of those still operating and operating well. Not just because they have a lot of money, because not all of them do, but they know how to negotiate rates. They know how to run the operation, so on and so forth. If you got investor money like that and you want to run your own mining facility, I would suggest you go hit my boy Mike from Bits Be Trippin'. I can answer some questions, but I will ultimately consult with Mike anyways. We also got Crypto Mikkel. I believe a number of the colleagues have started getting into that space. I'm not sure. I think Voscoin's just focusing on himself and his locations, not really helping other institutions or companies get involved. I could be wrong. Let me know. But Red Panda Mining, I don't even think he's consulting either. He might be for a select few, but there's plenty of colleagues out there that, you know, Coastal Crypto are helping smaller organizations try to get their feet up, you know, and get involved in the crypto scene. As we get ready for Red Panda Mining in 9 minutes, I do need to get out of here again a little bit early as we go say happy birthday to Mama Serpent. You can see Bitcoin 90K, fear and greed around 26. At least it's not below the 20s. The market cap, we did slip from 3.18 trillion down to 3.7 trillion. So we just don't have that enthusiasm, right? There's not a lot of retail coming into the scene. There's not a lot of, you know, hype going into any particular coin. Matter of fact, let's go look at the trending chart real quick and see what's happening. So don't even know what this is. It looks like it's on Binance Smart Chain. It's 1 month old. It says safe over here on the right. This is another way you could check it, right? Like if you go to the coin, I like to look for the audit, right? Like what's the audit? And sometimes they have that data for you as well. I'm not seeing it on here, or maybe they moved it. But usually they have an audit for you to look up. Let's go to the website. I'm not saying get into this coin. I'm just looking around to see if we can find the information, like the audit gives you, you know, security concerns. Where the heck's your audit? Okay. So, CoinMarketCap, you say it's safe, but where's the fucking audit, bro? And who did it? Am I going too fast? What the heck's going on? Okay. Whatever. But yeah, it says safe over here on the right, but I don't know who's doing that. Some of these coins, you'll have like an actual audit of it. So Binance Smart Chain is popping off as far as the top trending tokens. We got top 4 Binance Smart Chain. Then you got 2 in Solana. Then we got 1 in Caution. You see the Caution right here for Prompt or Wayfinder. Interesting. I know you were using Zotac to audit some of these tokens. Why the heck? Interesting. So nothing I really care about. I mean, this token right here was boosted. You could tell it's been boosted because you can see the rocket where you can boost some of these tokens. Jacksonville Freeze Watch has been issued until December 15th at 10 a.m. Interesting. Got a freeze watch. Got to bring the plants in. Argos, Stable, Rave, Dow. Never heard of any of this shit. Never heard of any of this shit. But then again, I haven't been keeping up. I have not been keeping up. So if these are your trending tokens, I don't know, man. I don't know. The landscape has changed drastically. I mean, Zcash is down significantly. I hope you guys didn't get hyped up and buy into the 600 like some people did, but let's go to the daily. I'm going to start tracking this. October 2025, so that's not the full chart. But yeah, got all the way up to 700 at least on this chart. Significantly pulled back. Still the same shit, different day, guys. Same shit, different day. Keep stacking them sats, accumulating. You know, get the coins you want. Like I'm staking. I'm earning Solana. I'm earning a little bit of Ethereum. Polygon is killing me. Polkadot is killing me. Like down significantly from when I got into those various positions. But I'm staking. I'm earning. I'm accumulating. I'm mining. I'm buying. I'm dollar cost averaging into like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Not telling you to do that. Do your own thing. But just playing a long game, zooming out, and you know, I did take, again, like I'm honest, I'm transparent. I did take profits, you know, when Bitcoin was 115 plus on some of these assets that were rallying to get the car fixed, to get it back up and running, to make sure my boys are good to go, to make sure my family's good to go, to get out of the hole I was in with the power company, to pay a debt or two down. Like, I still got a long way to go. There's still a long road ahead. There's still a lot of things that I need to optimize, as we all do. But just keep your head down, keep grinding, and everything will be just fine. Let's see if Red Panda Mining is ready to go live yet. Live Iowa Mining is leveling up. New hosting space, Miner AMA. Nice, Iowa. Good job. Good job. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up now, guys. I'm gonna get rocking and rolling. So I appreciate you stopping by. I'm gonna send you guys over to Red Panda Mining. If you guys want to just chill here, we'll automatically send you over, and you can just hang out until Red Panda Mining actually goes live. For me, I'm gonna go take care of some stings and have a good time with the fam. Got a celebration of my coworker tonight, so keep living, keep doing your thing, stay positive, and everything that I said earlier about hashing and stacking and all that stuff. So do me a favor on the way out, though. Hit that like button, get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date. Consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. And yeah, I'll catch you all later on, all right? Take care. Thank you again, guys, for stopping by. Really, truly appreciate y'all.